In this video, the learner will translate a figure on the coordinate plane and write the algebraic rule for the transformation. First, let's talk about what a translation is. It is a function that maps each pre-image point to its image along a vector, called the translation vector. And there are two conditions that the translation must meet. The first condition is that each segment joining a point and its image have the same length as the translation vector. So we see this point here, point Y, on the pre-image. That would be our starting figure that connects to this Y prime. That's what we call the little apostrophe there. We're going to call that Y prime on the image. Notice that this vector W is my translation vector, and the length of the segment between Y and Y prime is congruent to that vector W. Notice it's the same between X and X prime and between Z and Z prime. Also, each segment is parallel to our translation vector. So each of these segments have the same slope as our translation vector. In this example, we're going to translate this polygon ABCDE left 6 and up 8. First, we want to record what our pre-image points are. So our pre-image points are these green points here, and we have the following coordinates: +2, -3, +2, -8, 8, -8, 8, -3, and 5, -5. I'm going to translate this figure left 6 and up 8. Notice how these points move as I translate this figure. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the left. Now up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now we can see where that image is going to end up. So now we have the image points: A at -4, +5, B at -4, 0, C at +2, 0, D at +2, +5, and E at -1, +3. Notice if we connect each one of the image and pre-image points, we get this translation vector. Notice if I were to make a copy of this, each one of these translation vectors are the exact same length. So the component form, remember, of a vector is the X and Y components of that vector. So if I were to place this vector on the coordinate plane somewhere, I could see the X component would be -6 and the Y component would be a +8. Each one of these vectors would be an equivalent vector to this one. So that's our translation vector. Now, think about this question. Could you write an algebraic rule to represent the translation? I want you guys to do this. Try thinking about what happens to the X values and what happens to the Y values of each of the points. So look at your pre-image and then look at your image points and try to find a connection. Here's an example I want you guys to do. If you translated the point 7, 6, left 12, and down 3, where would A prime be? So this is our pre-image, 7, 6. We want to find the image of point A. For this, I want you to describe each translation. I want you to describe the translation from A to B, from B to D, D to C, A to D, and then D to A. Notice how 4 and 5 are related. So when you describe those translations, see if you get the same answer or a different response.